guys, today's video is gonna be advice for new vegans slash what I wish I knew when I first went vegan. So I've been vegan for about a year and a half now, maybe a little bit over. I've learned from experience, I've trekked through the mud a bit, and this is just things that I've collected knowledge-wise along the way. Everybody's vegan journey is different and everybody's eating habits and just life habits are different. So if you're vegan and you don't agree with this, that's fine. This is just my personal experience, so my personal advice from me. But the first thing has to do with portion size. For the most part, when you go vegan, you're gonna be eating more whole foods, less processed foods. So quantity-wise, you're gonna have to eat more. But you don't have to eat that much more, which is what I found out the hard way. So the two ends of the spectrum is you can't eat too little no matter what your diet consists of. On the other end of the spectrum, you also can't consume too much. And yes, I said that for the people that don't agree with me, but you can consume too much. And I think a lot of this has to do with who I watched, especially online. Lots of fit people who ate huge quantities of everything. And I thought, cool, I get to eat huge quantities of everything and I won't gain weight, and this is like how you're supposed to eat. It's the only way to eat. This is what I gotta do. And of course, eating a ton of pasta or a ton of potatoes or bananas or whatever it is will work for some people. Maybe they're just built like that. But a lot of those people that I saw doing that were extreme athletes, and I am not an extreme athlete. And even if I see them doing that and I say, that's what I wanna become, but if you're not doing that much exercise, you don't need that much food. You see where I'm getting at there? So a lot of these people are saying you can eat unlimited amounts of carbs and fruit and all this stuff. So that's what I thought I should be doing. So the first winter that I went vegan, I was watching a lot of those people that ate crazy amounts of everything. So I was eating a crazy amount of everything. So I gained about 10 pounds. And that wasn't just 10 pounds that just needed to be put on. I was a healthy weight before. I wasn't a stick, but I didn't need that extra 10 pounds. And it's not like I gained it and then it just magically floated and melted away, which is what a lot of these people say is going to happen. I had to work real hard to get it off. I've since lost those 10 pounds, which I feel a lot better back at this weight. So just be aware of your portion size, but mostly in the sense I say that of how that portion size makes you feel. So if you're eating a little portion size and you're getting really hungry and you're not satisfied with that, eat more. But if you think you have to eat a ton of something, and like when I mean a ton, I mean like an excess amount, and it's making you feel like crap for eating that much, then don't eat that much. You don't have to. It's okay to stop when you're full. And you could see a lot of this in, I think maybe my earlier videos and a lot of my Instagram posts. I think I can comfortably eat like 2 potatoes now. Like that's a good amount, but I think I was eating like 4 potatoes or something. I was eating a ton of rice at once. I was eating probably like 6 to 8 bananas per smoothie, and I only actually need 2, maybe 3, and that's fine. That's a good amount. I feel comfortable digesting that amount of bananas. Because if you eat way more than you're comfortable digesting, then you just feel like crap. You don't feel like doing anything. You feel lethargic. You just want to like sit and digest after your meal, and it's just, that's no way to live, and you don't have to. And changing my portion size down just a little bit makes me feel so much better. But I also think portion wise, it depends what exactly you're eating. So for me, I can't eat huge smoothies. They don't digest well, they don't sit well in me. But one thing that I have dramatically increased is the size of my salads. I think I joked before that I didn't really eat salads since going vegan, but now I've actually sat down and ate salads as a meal, and I literally take like a big salad bowl and I fill it up maybe like 3/4 of the way, and that's my meal of how much salad I can eat. But I eat it very slowly, and it's just something that digests well in a bigger quantity for me. Just be aware and really present on how things and quantities make you feel. I also think it is so helpful to watch other YouTubers and go on blogs and things like that and see what other vegans are eating just to get ideas. But there are a lot of like fad or like popular foods in this community that I thought you're not a good vegan unless you eat things like that, like nutritional yeast or sriracha or mangoes, bananas obviously, durian. It's cool if you try that and that works for you, but if it doesn't, then find something you like better. And if you don't like that certain food, you're not a bad vegan. That's just something you don't like. Like, I really don't like sriracha sauce, and I thought something was wrong with me because everybody seems to like it, but that's just my personal taste and preference, so it's okay if I don't like it. If you're watching a lot of YouTube or looking at a lot of blogs and you just don't click with some people's tastes, then find somebody else that you try some of their recipes. Sometimes you have to try things obviously more than once to get acclimated to a different type of food. There's probably someone that's a better fit for you for finding new food ideas, because there's some people that I love watching their videos and whatever they make just like looks, sorry, my face is itchy, looks beautiful. I make the recipes and it's just tastes that I just do not like and I don't care for, and they just don't make me feel good. So I will watch their videos, but I won't necessarily always make what they make because I know they have a different palate than I do. Next, I want to discuss a little bit about the whole phenomenon of taking pictures of your food, which is something that I honestly really enjoy doing. And if I go out to eat, I usually take a picture of what I'm gonna eat if it's something particularly beautiful. You don't have to be a food artist to be vegan. It's not a requirement, which took me a little while to find out, because probably about a year ago was like the height of my food artistry obsession, and it was taking over my life just like a little bit, where you prepare something and you take just too much time making it beautiful, switching it to be like the correct colors and the correct composition, and honestly it doesn't really matter when you're just gonna eat it and it's gonna go away. Yeah, it's cool if you get a good picture of it, but if you don't, it's not the end of the world. Sometimes I take pictures of my food and it's just not a great picture. If it doesn't look great, then I'm like, oh, well, whatever. I'll just take a picture of something else next time. And I am totally like not judging anybody who does take extreme pride in the appearance of their food. It's totally okay. If that's something like you like to do as a hobby, then do it. And for me personally, I value my time more than if I took a half hour just laying out my food to be like the perfect picture. Because there's some people that I follow and they take beautiful pictures and like, that's great for them, but I'm just like, oh, that took them an hour just to lay out this picture and to cut their fruit into all these crazy shapes and display it like that, and just like, what a big old waste of time is how I see it. But that's just my view, just being somebody who used to take too much time preparing their food. Of course, I think it is good advertisement for the vegan movement if you're gonna take pictures of your meal to make it somewhat appealing. A lot of the times, and when I first went vegan, I saw either people who made their food just so bland and sloppy and like crappy looking, just to be honest. That was unappealing. And then also people that take so much time preparing and laying out their food pictures to be like these crazy works of art. That was very intimidating to me. And I'm like, I don't have time to spend that much time on my meals every day. Like, no. So I think either end of the spectrum can be disheartening to people looking at veganism. There's a lot in the middle that I think we don't get to see all the time. One thing that's taken me a while to wean myself off of as a newer vegan, and now I'm just, am I still a newer vegan? I don't know. Or am I at the just vegan level yet, a year and a half later? A lot of the alternative meats and cheeses, I feel like I've eaten a lot less of those as time has progressed. And although pretty much anytime I buy something like crazy alternative, like chip-wise or ice cream-wise or something like that, I will do a haul about, but I don't do it on a too much of a regular basis. I think it's also okay if it takes you a longer time eating those, or if that's just like how you eat, is like mostly veggie burgers or things like that. I think that's also okay. It's obviously not the healthiest, but it's okay if you're eating those, or if it takes you like a longer time to like wean those off of your diet. But you also don't have to use them. I hardly ever eat alternative plant-based cheeses anymore because it just does not make me feel great. So that's okay too if you just choose not to eat them. As a new vegan, you're going to make a lot of mistakes, and I think that's kind of inevitable. I think every vegan makes mistakes. Even now, even probably people that have been vegan for, I don't know, decades, still make mistakes every once in a while. You just have to do it to the best of your abilities. But also, when I say best of your abilities, I do mean best of your abilities. So if you make a mistake as a vegan, it's fine. Don't just be like, I'm throwing in the towel, I effed up, whatever. It's gonna happen and you're gonna learn from it, and you're just gonna know like what to look out for the next time you're in that situation. Things that I've made mistakes on in the past, like especially grocery shopping, there are a lot of like lactose-free items. There's lactose-free cheeses that have casein. It sometimes takes a while to learn stuff like that, and sometimes there's things that you didn't even know like were a thing. You're like, oh, this almond cheese has milk in it. Or if you're in a rush or something and you just make a mistake of buying something that has milk in it or honey in it by mistake, I mean, it happens. It's not the end of the world. But you can look things up on your phone if you're at a chain restaurant. You can ask. You obviously don't have to be super annoying and interrogating to people about like what's in every single food, especially to waiters and waitresses and stuff like that. I think it's unnecessary. You can obviously ask politely. Don't be afraid to ask. Also, if you're at a party or a family gathering or something where there's lots of homemade items, this is what I do at family holidays especially, or like Thanksgiving or things like that. I will ask whoever made it or ask around and be like, does anybody know what's in this vegetable dish? Because some people make things with like butter in it or something like that that you can't see, and you didn't make it so you don't know, but it's not hard to find out too. So obviously like put in some effort, I think is important, but you don't have to be like crazy and rude about it either. So find the balance, but it's easy to ask. Another thing that I wish somebody told me when I first went vegan is to let people know when you're feeling anxious about going out to eat somewhere, because I would get invited to like breakfast or lunch or something with certain people that I didn't necessarily know exactly what restaurants and what options there were in the area that they lived, and I would cancel like all the time. I would make up an excuse to just not go out to eat with them because I felt so anxious and like afraid that I wasn't gonna be able to eat out anywhere. So I'd let people know, hey, I'm newly vegan. I don't know exactly where I can go out to breakfast with you, but we'll figure it out. And do your own research. If they care about you, they'll probably do research too. And it doesn't have to be like a huge deal, and it doesn't have to crazy impact your social life. It is sometimes a burden being vegan and going out to eat. It's not the easiest thing, but it is possible, and you don't have to just like not go out to eat ever again. It is okay / necessary to compromise when you go out to eat, because in actuality, you can go out to eat a lot of places. There's some places that like literally have nothing you can order, and maybe don't go there, or like offer another solution. If that's like the place everybody wants to go, be like, hey, I can't eat anything there, so could we go to this like place across the street or something. Some places, they're obviously not gonna have like the exact type of food you want to eat, and I think that's just like a sacrifice you kind of need to make if you want to go out to eat. I'm okay with the fact that sometimes I'll go places and the only thing I can eat is french fries. I like french fries, but I'm trying to eat healthier, so it's not like the ideal meal, but I'll go out to eat and that'll be my meal, and I got to go out to eat. And you can get creative too. Like if it's a pizza place, you can order without cheese on the pizza and just get like tons of veggies or something. And maybe that's not like exactly what you feel like eating, but that's your option. So it doesn't always just have to be a salad or something without dressing. I have done that before. My next segment of this video is things that I already kind of knew, being a new vegan, but I'm sharing with you anyway, so I'm proud that I already knew these, but I think they're helpful. The first one being, bring, if possible, your own food places. Food places. Bring your own food when you're going places. Yes. Like family holidays, I usually bring my own dish and make it look nice just to give a good rep, but it doesn't have to be crazy nice. If you're going to somebody else's party or somebody else's holiday or something, bring a dish that you can eat and that you can share. So enough for everybody. My favorite thing to make is like a good vegan mac and cheese with lots of veggies or something like that. Something that looks nice and looks like you put a little bit of effort into it. It's covering your bases so you don't have to worry about what you're gonna eat and if you can eat at a certain party, or if you're going to like a significant other's event, you don't have to worry and other people don't have to worry for you, and it makes you look good. It makes you look like an adult if you bring something with you. Usually people appreciate it, even if it's like just kind of a selfish act. It makes you look good. Another option for this, maybe not necessarily for like a holiday or something like that, but if you're going to a party or to somebody's house or something, to just eat before. Or some people do this before they go out to eat, which I've heard, which I'd rather order something when I go out to eat. But I mean, if it's like completely not an option, then eat before and you can order booze or something, I don't know. And that will, one, not make you worry about if you're gonna get hungry when you get there or what you're gonna eat there, if it's not necessarily some place that you're gonna bring food to. And two, even if it doesn't make entirely all that much sense, but I think being somewhere as a vegan, sometimes you stress other people out. This is just what I found, and it takes that stress off of other people. Because I've gone places before and somebody's offered me food or something, and then I'm usually just like, oh no thank you, and then somebody would be like, oh she's vegan, she can't eat that, and then if it's like the person's house you're at or something especially, it stresses them out, or it can in my experience, and they'll be like, what can I feed you, like what can I get you, and then they're like scourging through their cabinets and stuff, and I'm like, it's fine, I already ate, like don't even worry about me. When I first went vegan, my boyfriend at the time's mom, she would make me a lot of vegetarian options when I was vegetarian before I went vegan, and that was pretty easy for her, which I appreciated a lot. But then when she heard that I went vegan, she was just like, I do not know what to feed you, like all this stuff, and it just, I could just see like the kind of like panic in her face, and I was like, don't worry about it. Do not even put any effort into feeding me, like just don't do it. I will eat before I come see you, or if it's one of your family events, I will bring my own dish, and it's just, don't worry about it. I got this. This other point I want to make, I don't think it works for everybody, but I think it should, but it doesn't always, and that is you don't have to prepare or touch other people's animal products. Again, this probably isn't always an option for everybody, but I've always made it a priority for myself, and it's just something that I've stood my ground on. A year ago now, I was living with my boyfriend at the time, and I would not cook animal products after going vegan. It just like wasn't an option. I didn't buy them in my grocery list. I just took it as, you can survive off of my vegan cooking, and it's not my problem if you'd rather have meat tonight. It's not my problem. I'm not gonna prepare it for you. I've always just taken it as, if you would rather have meat or cheese or eggs or something in this dish, it's not my problem. Sorry, I'm not gonna touch it. I'm not gonna prepare it. I'm not gonna buy it. You're on your own. I have seen lots of forums where women especially do prepare meat for their husbands and their kids. It's not something that I would ever be comfortable doing, but I can see if you started off as a meat eater and preparing that in your relationship or family dynamic, then it might be hard to stop. It's just not something I would ever do, and I think it's okay to stand your ground with just making that a priority and just like a rule. It depends how your family dynamic goes. I've never been comfortable having meat in the house. It makes me very uncomfortable. Even living with pescatarians now, it makes me very just unsettled. having like tuna fish and salmon and stuff in the house. I really don't like it. So hopefully I can live on my own or with another vegan someday. Work with the situation you have, make it as easy on your morals, I guess, as you can. The last couple points that I have written down on my cheat sheet here are: one, and this also depends situation by situation, family and friends will for the most part adjust and accept and get used to the fact that you're vegan. It can take a while. I know when I first decided that I really truly wanted to go vegan, I remember like people in my family were like very concerned about it, but I knew it was just something that I needed to do and had to do and really wanted, so I kind of ignored their concerns a little bit. They're totally used to it now. I'm obviously still alive, which I think is a big thing that people think isn't gonna happen when you say you're gonna go vegan. I'm just like, hey, it's a year and a half later. I'm still alive, still standing up. I'm sitting down now, but I'm still standing up, still able to walk and run and all that stuff. Haven't turned into a skeleton. It's kind of inevitable that when you meet new people and when you let people that maybe haven't talked to you in a while know that you're vegan, that they're gonna have a ton of questions. And I think, yeah, it's just an inevitable part of it that you have to answer a lot of questions. And just try to do your best with answering the questions. Be positive, be respectful if you can. Be a good example if you can. That's what I try to do. People will make the stupid jokes about like, but bacon tastes so good and I can never give up cheese and stuff, and just to not go on like a crazy high horse rant about it and just give an educated response to them if possible. That's what I try to do. But it's just part of it that people are gonna ask you questions or make fun of you. But for the most part, people will get used to it and they'll accept it, and then it's just one little factor about you. It's not like this huge elephant in the room every time they're around you. Like the first few family holidays I went to, it was just this big deal that I was now vegan, and just like lots of comments and stuff are like, why are you doing it or whatever, or like other people's extended families or something would have lots of questions for me. But then maybe not the first time you go to a family holiday, maybe not the second time, but like the third or the fourth or the fifth time, it won't be a big deal anymore and people won't comment on it all the time. I give it a little bit of faith that it will change and people will get used to it, because it is a relatively rare thing to be vegan, so people will question it and it's just something that people are curious about. The last thing I want to touch upon, because it seems to, especially nowadays, be like a big theme in the vegan community, and that is don't let veganism break your relationships with your friends or your family. This is, of course, not everybody is willing to do this or is capable of it, and like I do understand, but for me this is my stance on this subject, is that I don't let veganism break my relationships with friends or family or people that I'm in a relationship with. I think especially on YouTube you see it a lot more, that people will disown their family or their friends or people in their relationship with because they're vegan and other people aren't. And it doesn't have to be like that. Of course, it does put a little stress on things, and in a perfect world, like you'd be vegan and then everybody you know would turn vegan, and that'd be great and that would make things so much easier, but that's like not the society we live in. Especially when you first go vegan, it's really hard when you learn all that to share it with people and they don't go vegan right away and you're like, what is wrong with you? Like, I learned all this stuff and I went vegan overnight or whatever, and why don't you care? I know that's like very difficult to deal with because I've dealt with it. People are still people, and there's many different great qualities about most people, and the fact that they're not vegan shouldn't be like their only one quality that you see. My friends are still my friends before and after going vegan. Of course, I would love it if they went vegan, or if everybody in my family went vegan, that'd be awesome, but that's just hasn't happened, and it's okay, and I still love them. Some people feel differently about this than I do, and maybe I can talk more about this in the future. I've dated a bit since going vegan, none of which are people that have been vegan, that I've been in relationships with or that I've dated, and it's okay. It is difficult, and yeah, if people aren't respectful to the fact that you're vegan, that's not okay, but it doesn't have to be like, hey, you have to go vegan or this is over. To me, this is how I feel. I know a lot of people couldn't do this, and I think that's that can be okay too. But especially being in like rural New Hampshire, if I said I'm only gonna date another vegan, then I would be alone, which I'm alone anyway currently, but whatever. It's not like my number one factor. But don't let veganism put this like hate goggles towards humanity, because I think that happens to a lot of vegans where you kind of just like hate people, which I don't think is okay. People have lots of positive and negative attributes to them, and the fact that somebody is or isn't vegan doesn't have to be their like number one quality. That's it for this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already. Give me a like, dislike, whatever. If you guys have any input or any tips for new vegans or things you wish you knew when you first went vegan, let me know in the comments below. All my social media links will be in the description as always, and I'll see you guys in a later video.